Hey guys, this is Seraph, and I am here to give a little tutorial on doing solo distress beacons. So starting off, you're going to be at the Cloud City Spaceport. That is the east travel point in Bespin. Kind of run on over to this Wingguard security officer, talk to him, and go through all of his dialogues. And that will get you an emergency frequency decryptor, which is the item you use to spawn in the beacon. Once you have that, you run over to the Starship Terminal, and go ahead and launch. I'm using an Ixion. Really anything that has either a Mark 6 cap or a Zeta should be fine for this. The key is having enough sustain to kill a lot of fighters, because you're going to be up against a lot of fighters. Once you're up in space running your overloads, you can go ahead and open your inventory and double click this thing to spawn in the beacon. I have my map open because as soon as that thing spawns in, you're going to see an armed transport here. Right click that and autopilot to it, because that'll get you there faster. All the mobs are going to spawn in before you get there, so that will help speed things up. Go ahead and look at your chat log here, and if you have timestamps on, you should see this. You're going to want to make a mental note of a point 15 minutes after this time here when this line pops up, we're under attack. So in my case, that's going to be 17:03:50, and that is when I need to have pretty much all the fighters down if I want to get the second crate. Okay, so speaking of crates, I see on my map here through all my list of spawns that I have one crate up and I want to prioritize that. So I'm going to target that using the map and comp target the weapon and just go ahead and delete that. Once that's down, I can go ahead and start clearing out fighters. Now you'll notice as soon as I spawn this thing in, can't actually see them this time, but a lot of friendly NPCs spawn that'll fight these mobs that attack the freighter. Those tend to fly straight towards the center of the system as soon as they spawn in, and a lot of the fighters will usually follow them. So if you can pick off a few of them, it's a good idea, but in general, you don't really want to chase them because they'll usually pull you pretty far away from the freighter, and that might put you in a bad spot by the time the second wave spawns. Eventually, they'll peel off their aggro and come back to the freighter regardless, so yeah, kind of a good rule of thumb. Don't over pursue them. Now you're going to get 5 waves for each of these things and then a boss wave, and I think each regular wave spawns every 2 minutes, and they're always going to have the same types of fighters spawn with them. Something's shooting me in the ass, and that's probably a crate. Sure enough, another one just spawned in. Go ahead and target that. Comp target its weapon, and I'll go chase that down. Anyway, yes, waves spawn every 2 minutes or so, and then I think there's a 1 minute interval between the 5th wave and the boss wave. Now, the first 5 waves are always going to have the same spawn, so if I get 1 crate on the first wave, then I'm always going to have 1 crate on the subsequent waves up to the 5th wave. The boss wave is completely re-rolled, and you might get completely different things, but most importantly, you get 1 YT if you're flying solo, or I think up to like 5 YTs if you're flying in a group of 8. Just depends on your group size, but it should always be consistent based on your group size. The number of crates you get is pretty random. It's also contingent on your group size. If you're solo in general, it's only going to be usually 0 or 1, but occasionally 2, and I think very rarely you can get 3, but that's super uncommon. A lot of the anecdotes you'll hear from people, they'll be talking about how the number of crates kind of dictates the difficulty of a beacon. In my experience, that's really not the case. More so, it's the number of tier 6 and tier 7 mobs that spawn in, since those tend to take the longest time to kill and they'll slow down your run the most. Like where I can kill like a tier 5 in maybe 2 or 3 hits, it usually takes me something like, 6, 7, 8 to kill one of the higher tier NPCs. And not only does that drain a crapload of my cap, but it also takes a lot of time, which isn't good. So what I'm going to try and do here is disable this guy for later, but I'm not going to actually disable him. I'm going to get his engine down low and then failed there, but try to disable it without comp targeting the engine, just, like that random chance of hitting the engine. If you blow up the engine without comp targeting it, it doesn't count as a disable, so it won't self-destruct on its own after that 2-minute timer's up. So that's kind of what you want to aim for in order to have a mob left over at the end that you can kill to get that second crate, and I will explain that, when we get to that point. To that end, in order to, get that engine kill without blowing up the ship, it's a good idea to have a macro on your toolbar that lets you split and combine your weapon groups. If you hit me up on Discord, I can send you that macro, that's no problem. It's gonna vary a little bit depending on whether you're flying a 2 or 3 gun ship, but it's the same basic principle. Ah, shit. Yep, that's exactly what you don't want to do, is accidentally disable it when you're trying to cripple it. Then you just have to wait for the immunity to expire and then kill it. And I got another wave in during that time. I think this is the 4th wave at this point, so I'm gonna go hunt down that crate. And I might have some catching up to do now. In general, if you're trying to find a ship to cripple, I personally would recommend either going for, if you get some T6 Kiraxes, those are ideal because they're super small, or failing that, these T6, or tier 6 Dune Lizards are a good option. A lot of the times you might find yourself in a situation where you've saved one mob for last, but the NPCs are killing the crap out of it, which is obviously not ideal because that'll prevent you from getting your second crate. So if you have a small ship, you can actually use your own ship's hitbox to cover it and protect it from getting hit, which isn't ideal because it's hard to pull off, but it does give you, a little extra leeway. If you're in a situation where you have like 30 seconds left, but the NPCs are shooting at your last ship. Yeah, moreover, they have less health, so it's easier to kill them quickly once the timer's, close to expiring. Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be one of those harder runs just because I have so many tier 6 Dune Lizards. Another fail trying to get the disable. And I think, yeah, just got another wave in. Yeah, this one's getting a little rough. This might be close. Go ahead and kill this crate. This is the 5th wave, so in about a minute I'm gonna have that YT spawn in. So I just have to be cognizant that that's coming. Yeah, if you let them build up on you like this, it's really easy to get kind of lost in how many mobs there are. Ideally, you kind of want to minimize the travel distance between yourself and the next target. So it helps to kind of just target under cursor in front of you if you have something. You prioritize the lower tiers when you can because it's nice to get them out of the way, but you know, no need to do so at the expense of having to travel far. Okay, there's that YT. Luckily it was right in front of me. Go ahead and comp target that. And blow my entire cap trying to kill it. Cool. Check for crates. There are, oh, 2 crates in this one. That sucks. Let's go ahead and find those guys. That's one down. Go find the other one. And he's right there. That's convenient. Shoot me in the face, though. That's not convenient. Okay, so he's dead. Shouldn't have too much trouble with other shit shooting me. Really, the only things that are going to shoot at you in these solo are the crates and the YT, so just prioritize those, and you shouldn't really ever have to worry about dying or, you know, needing a lot of defense on your ship. Incidentally, if you can, you know, sacrifice some shield levels in, for example, like an X-Wing or a Defender, you could fit maybe like an Epsilon or some other bigger cap like that. That'll give you a little more sustain and make that a viable ship to use for this. I'm kind of in a situation, since I wasn't able to get a disable earlier, that I don't really know for sure that I'm going to have a ship to fall back on after I clear these out. So what I'm going to do in this case is try and wait till I'm down to maybe like 5 ships, and then I'm going to check my map and see if I have any stragglers. I think I just saw a few hanging out there in the distance, but I can't really, you know, be sure of that while I'm still trying to kill shit, so I'm not going to bother, you know, worrying about that just yet. Not really much point in worrying about getting a second crate until you're, you know, sure you're getting the first one right. I've got some NPC help again finally, so that might be helpful. He's cleared out a little bit quicker. Again, with some small exceptions, they're mostly lower tier ships, which should be helpful, but I'm definitely dry capping at this point, so this is probably going to be really close. If I even get the second crate at all. It does look like these are mostly lower tier ships left over, so that is, you know, really fortunate for me because I might actually stand a chance. It's not fortunate is how bad this RNG I'm getting on my guns is. I'm actually a little concerned right now that I might have too many stragglers, so even if I do manage to clear these out, there might be too many to catch up to before the timer runs out. Which does happen. Luckily not very often, but unfortunately sometimes. So until they happen to patch this and make the second crate something you can consistently get by clearing the mobs, there really just can't be any guarantee there. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah, at this point I have about a minute left. I don't think I'm going to get the second crate this time. have been nice if I could have killed that in one pass. Probably not going to matter, but you never know. Let's see, I got one more by the freighter, and then I probably have way too many to catch up to aside from that, but I'll take a look. That guy's flagging. Oh, yeah, I'm totally screwed. Fuck this. Yeah, sometimes it just does not go your way. They're all tangled up over here fighting the NPCs, and I'm just crying to myself. But that's life. Yep, and there goes the timer. So yeah, sometimes it does not work out in your favor. Usually it's pretty consistent, but just sometimes you just get these shit runs, and that's, you know, something you have to accept. Something nice in the crate would have made it feel a little better, but it is how it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll try and do another one where I actually get the second crate. Peace out.